And we're live? We need to work on the hand signals, I think, for the and we're live, because Chopper's just done a little bit. And we're live! Whoa, we're live! Holy hell! Hello, you're watching ScreenStalker Live. I'm Fakidor Laurie Blake. This is housemate Simon Longdon. In the room with us is King Choppity Woppity Woppity.
Hey.
And Oliver Davies is also here, just hanging out and doing some work.
Hey.
There he is. Hey. Right, coming up on today.
Hey, Simon!
Hashtag housemate Simon section. So coming up on today's show, we will be talking about Cody Rhodes sort of, maybe confirming that AEW's game is going to be made by Aki. Whenever I say Aki, all I can think of is Aki and saltfish, which is a Jamaican delicacy. Marvel also
potentially burying that line in the
Marvel potentially. What do you mean?
I was like, oh yeah,
that was just knocking about in my brain. Yeah. Marvel also potentially scrapped a second Incredible Hulk film with Edward Norton because
he wrote it.
Edward Norton wrote it. And also, one of the actors from Joker put the director Todd Phillips in his place over his comments about woke culture ruining comedy. Then after all that, we'll also be going through some fun little memes about Untitled Goose Game and having generated some of our own. And we will be playing Beat Thy Mario Maker, which, if you don't know, is we play basically courses that were sent to us by people online and see if we can beat them or not. And if we don't beat them, we are Mario Maker morons. And if we do, we are Mario Maker masters.
We should come up with some sort of better punishment for it other than just admitting you're a moron.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Chop the cock off? I don't. What do you want as the punishment? A flogging. We'll have a flogging. That's it. I'm a Mario Maker moron. If you have any courses that you want to send us and see us play, because we'll be doing it every Monday, I think, from now on the channel. So it'll be Mario Maker Mondays. Send them over to me on Twitter or to Simon on Twitter or to basically any of us on Twitter, and we'll attempt to collate them into some sort of document.
Admin's not our strong point, so make it clear.
Keep sending them, basically.
Or you could email them. We have much more chance of seeing them if you email them.
I don't know. I've got some pretty hefty spam filters because I've been on some dodgy websites.
SEO is not your friend.
Yeah, that's it. I've got the Great Firewall of China. I asked for it specifically.
Great Firewall of China really tickled me. Pete at WrestleTalk.com or Laurie at WrestleTalk.com or Luke at WrestleTalk.com or...
Hey, you can use our ScreenStalker email.
Simon at ScreenStalker.com.
Just know that if we email you back off the ScreenStalker one, it will end up in your spam.
Yes, it will.
Because it sounds dodgier than it is. I mean, it's pretty dodgy. It's like 5 white guys just
hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. Anyway, should we get on with the first story?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, the top story today is that Cody Rhodes has sort of semi-confirmed that Aki, who made No Mercy and the likes of those sort of N64 wrestling classics, may be the studio they've tapped up to work on the AEW game. So Cody was in an event, and a fan asked him outright whether Aki would be involved in the development of the long-rumoured, heavily hinted at AEW game. And he said, I can't say much, but what I will say is that this is the game that people have been asking for. It's the game we've been hinting at. And that might sound like sort of just like platitudes, but Kenny Omega has specifically tweeted Aki to ask him about the game. TNT tweeted out an AEW 64 mock-up cover art. The Young Bucks confirmed the game itself with supreme confidence. So it seems like everything is pointing in the direction of Aki working on this title.
And this is how AEW have announced almost everything they've done, which is just...
What, through the medium of No Mercy?
No. Yeah. Just they've done it, they sort of tease it, but basically they tell you quite early on they've already got something that's pretty much done, and then they just sort of string you along. But it's very obvious that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's very cool.
I think it's very cool. I'm just wondering if it's going to literally be the engine that ran No Mercy and WWF versus NWO Revenge.
Well,
that sort of like, which I think at the time was kind of revolutionary for a wrestling game because it offered so much potential for moves and customization because your character could have infinite finishers, but that they basically became your signature moves, and you would have like, I would always play it like this, there's my one finishing move that I would do to win the match. But you would kind of build up this repertoire of like big spots that you would do as kind of your power moves, and then every single connection between you and the other wrestler. It was just like, here is a branching path of like 8 different moves you can do here, 8 different strong moves you can do here. It was so deep. It actually puts the 2K games to shame in terms of the amount of moves they've got to each individual button.
Well, you say that, but then the advantage that 2K have got...
You say that, but no.
I agree with your point, but I think it's absolute nonsense.
And how dare you?
But it's more that 2K have got essentially... I mean, when was... We're talking, what, since 1998, 1999, the first SmackDown game came out? So,
It was late 90s,
so those
I think,
THQ games, they've had... there are some animations that survive. Shawn Michaels had the same super kick until pretty much Here Comes the Pain, I think. So you think how many moves and how many different sections of the things a wrestler can do that were given those branching moves. They've had so much to build up.
Do you mind?
Sorry, what is that?
Mate, we're live.
I know.
You can't edit that out, Simon.
Answer it.
But the...
I won't deal with heckles from behind the same desk that I'm behind.
But even the No Mercy games, so you had No Mercy, and before that Revenge, and before they had World Tour, and so like there was also still, to get to No Mercy, they'd already had 3 or 4 games to build up.
Quite a few different iterations.
So to start one completely fresh, unless it really is just something closer to a mod than it is a full fresh title. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not sure whether they're going to go in the direction of building a new engine from the ground up, because I don't know if... I mean, AEW's got money, but I don't know if they've got
Build a AAA game.
Build a AAA game from the ground up kind of money.
Well, also, because also, like, I guess, unless they've partnered with a big publisher, would it be self-funded? I guess that's the question. Is AEW the publisher of this game, or have they partnered up to sell the license to a big publisher and said, we want Aki to make it specifically because that is what's going to pop this specific sector of wrestling fans that we will be selling this game to?
I don't know.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do, and I think it's obviously a genius idea to when WWE's games seem to be drifting into this weird hinterland of being like it's half a sports game and half a wrestling simulation, and those two things don't actually work together half the time, to the point where like the story mode of the game is always like do this specific thing but also win the game, and it's like though you can't.
Well, it's interesting that the
cheat and win. It's like, okay, but you normally get you caught out for cheating.
It's interesting that the ethos in which AEW is attempting to be the alternative to WWE will also have to be carried over in the way that their game is designed to be the alternative to 2K. So it's just an interesting mirroring going on there.
And maybe that mirroring has gone quite a similar direction as the AEW generally, where it's like they're kind of mirroring what old WCW did. And they've ended up choosing to make an old WWF game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, well, I guess that is the tough thing, because they are going to be... I'm just thinking, does TNT have any... Do they own any games publishers, even like small ones?
I don't know.
That'd be an interesting thing if
that's
TNT
a live
ended up
Google
publishing.
shopper. See if TNT own any games publishers.
I'm on it.
Because
What does the Khans do? Do the Khans secretly own
Khans might
Rockstar?
do.
You never know. Probably not.
Yeah, I think the modding community is so big for No Mercy still. I would struggle to see them truly building a true AAA title. But at the same time, it's very hard to tell with AEW. They're sort of simultaneously much bigger than you think they are, but also nowhere near as big as you think they are. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So they sort of...
They're like what? Like the Schrodinger's cat of
they are.
popular opinion.
Yeah, they are. They're simultaneously this billionaire-backed infinite pool of money on a massive broadcaster doing really well in the ratings, but they're also sort of a small indie that doesn't have as much resources as those big. They're sort of they are sort of both simultaneously, and this part of the business will fit firmly in the camp of they're small fry in this part of the business.
Yes.
In the I just don't know where I don't know how much Aki are going to need to actually make the game. Don't know how much time they're going to need. Have they been working on it?
Aki are going to need to make the game.
Or it's not Aki, and actually this thing that Ukes have been developing on their own just becomes the AEW game.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's probably just space for it to. It could be anyone just making it in that style, but I think likely it's going to be that N64 styled game with a fresh coat of paint over the top of it and character models based on the AEW roster.
It's also worth noting that most old games, were it not for your own nostalgia, they don't hold up, either visually or physically, you know. But
No Mercy just had faces just stretched over
Yeah.
a bunch of polygons.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. They were all the same character model, but with
Yes.
just there's Eddie Guerrero.
yeah, well, Eddie Guerrero
Do
was
you want
also
Benoit? There's Benoit.
well, also Guerrero was spelt differently. So on when he comes out, he's EDDY, which is not how he spelled his name.
No.
But on his T-shirt, it's EDDIE. So they got the actual picture of his T-shirt that he wears,
Yeah.
and then still spelled his name wrong on the actual code of the game.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, don't put Chris
Spell
Benoit in
check.
it for a start.
It was okay at the time, Simon. It was fine.
That's what the Nazis said. Yeah, I'm actually a bit skeptical about this whole what
Really?
the game will be. I just don't think it's. I'd be just surprised if it was just this fully fledged. I hope it is.
I feel like it's going to be more in line with NJPW's inclusion in Fire Pro, something like that. It's going to be more like a sort of sideline deal around this other wrestling game that was maybe already in development. Like
That's what I was going to say. About old games. No Mercy really does hold up. So in terms of wrestling games, because it does, the actual mechanics of it do hold up really well. If you just put good graphics on that game, it would work fine.
Yeah.
Even the story would work. Like it really does hold up. So I think there is something to be said for just a unbelievably well-funded mod of No Mercy would be brilliant, and I think they could really play off that. So they could both save themselves money and actually play off the fan base in quite a smart way.
And release it on the N64.
And release it on the N64.
Where everyone can play it.
Yeah.
Where Luke Owen can play it, I think is the key. There's something going on over here. There's some sort of collusion happening off screen that
We're
you
just
can't
talking
see.
about the stream, Laurie.
Oh, okay, lovely.
We're allowed to.
Chopper, would you play an AEW game if it was dressed up like No Mercy? Have you played No Mercy? Are you old enough?
I mean, if I have
Were you
played it,
old
I
enough?
can't remember playing it, put it that way. Thanks, Ollie. Tell you what I did play, though, the other day. I played WrestleMania 2000. Played the other day, because we went to Four Quarters, which is a pub near us, which has all sorts of retro video game stuff in it. And Ollie's trying to photobomb my shot, which is really nice.
Sorry, I was going to run out of these things.
We couldn't figure out how to do a pin, and then we did a Royal Rumble, and then we couldn't figure out how to get people out of the ring. So it was an uneventful time.
This is the thing with these
I
older
wouldn't want to
games.
do that again. I'd like to play a game where we could win, but it was very fun at the same time. I got to wrestle as Droz, and that's not very often you get to do that. Yeah, so
my main combo of like wrestling action figures when I was a kid, I had a cane and I had a Droz. I don't know why I had the Droz, but it was really good. It's just like the actual sort of.
It was
Anyway.
a highly made toy.
Yeah, it was just really good.
Wow, you should go on Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder's show.
It's a really specific
talk
episode.
about figurines.
Yeah.
The Droz episode. Should we move on?
as a quick result,
Go
sorry,
on.
from a live Google that you asked me to do.
Of course. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, of course you did.
I was just trying to keep you busy.
Yeah, the TNT corporation themselves, they own a lot of things, but they do not own video game
What's the
publishers. from what I
weirdest
can
thing they
see.
own?
Adult Swim and Adult Swim Games, supposedly.
Okay,
so
that's
is that a game
That is a
publisher?
game- That is a game
Technically,
publisher.
I guess. Like that's so that's one they own. That's
Yeah,
the
there
only
you
one
go.
they have.
What do Adult Swim games make?
I don't know.
This is facts for late.
It's
Google
gonna be.
this
It's
while
like
we-
a Rick
Google
and
that
Morty
next
point and
time,
click
yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
I have
probably.
no idea.
Robot Chicken.
Did you know they also own the Cartoon Network? I didn't know that. And lots of CNN in a lot of countries. Loads of them.
Oh really?
So yeah. That
So,
too.
so they do, so the upshot of that is that they do own. They have at some point owned a games
yeah.
publisher.
So maybe it'll be an Adult Swim games. I don't know. Like,
Okay. Well, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think I'm not sure if but so when you do these sort of deals like with TNT, often a company that big actually might come in with you on some other stuff. Like, I mean, it's slightly tricky in this country because advertiser-funded programming is a very legally tricky thing for some reason. But you could easily, it's quite feasible to see someone like TNT back for a stake in a video game.
Yeah.
You know, for something, you know, because it might be tied up in some of their advertising spend or whatever. So I don't know. I think maybe they're going to unlock more money than we think. I mean, TNA had a game, and they didn't have 1.4 million people watching their show.
No, true.
And that game was good.
That was wrestling boom game time. So people were just looking for game publishers Googled other wrestling promotions, and they went, "You're going to get a game."
Well,
what's an AJ Styles?
Well, they had the game that basically was like, here's all your favorite wrestlers you've never been able to play as a game before. Do you want to play them in the career mode? Absolutely not. Never. You can create them, but you'll immediately be killed backstage and turned into suicide.
I'm getting quite far down this rabbit hole of TNT. Adult.
This is it. We're the TNT truthers today.
Adult Swim Games does not have a Wikipedia page, which you know is
sketchy at best.
Abhorrent, yeah. However,
do they actually exist?
I don't know, honestly. However, I thought it was quite interesting to note that the Cartoon Network Inc., which then a subsidiary of that is the Cartoon Network, Adult Swim is part of the Cartoon Network Inc. So you've got Adult Swim and the Cartoon Network and Boomerang all together in the same one, which is just a really weird combination.
Was Boomerang where they did like Wacky Races and Captain Caveman and stuff? Is that the retro, retro cartoons?
That sounds familiar, yeah. Something like that.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
The more you know,
anyway,
the less you care. Moving on. So, other interesting news that came out, I saw today, was that Edward Norton has been talking about a 10-year-old film that he was in, and to the New York Times.
But so is this breaking news?
Yeah, no, but this is quite funny because this is sort of like it's a bit of a new bit of information that came out about the early days of the MCU and how it could have been quite vastly different to what we actually got, because Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk was almost the derailing point of the very early MCU. We had Iron Man, then we had this Incredible Hulk film that was pretty shockingly bad, and that kind of dampen people's expectations for the MCU. And then Captain America First Avenger has sort of had a little bit of a mixed bag feel to it. Thor was quite good, but it was a bit of a rocky road actually to Avengers, and I think Avengers then cemented the MCU as this thing to watch. But Incredible Hulk was this kind of interesting... It was this point where they were still trying to get their characters back, and I think the interesting point about Incredible Hulk is that Universal owned the rights to the Incredible Hulk character. Marvel had the creative vision for the film, but Universal were distributing it. So it led to just this mess of creation and script writing and all these backstage fights and stuff. Whereas, like, Iron Man was almost this loosely, almost improved script and with an overall vision, but it was kind of fun and free. And Jon Favreau had a really good mindset and knew where he was going with it, along with Kevin Feige, obviously. But the Hulk just was back and forth. One of the writers left mid. Zach Penn, one of the screenwriters, left mid-production to go and work on a film called The Grand. So director, and what's his name? It's Louis
Armstrong.
No, yeah, Louis Armstrong. No, it's Louis Leterrier who directed it, and he basically was talking to Edward Norton, and Edward Norton was like, "Yeah, I'm a screenwriter. I'll do your script."
American History X.
So he did the script basically, and now it turns out in this interview with the New York Times, he almost did a second script for Incredible Hulk 2.
You know what's interesting though? You know who else can do? You know who else can write a script for the Hulk? Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone with their fingers.
What will he?
You don't even need fingers. You can just yell it at a computer and it'll type it out.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
Well, I just think it's funny because they're talking about it in this kind of highfalutin.
Well, I love his. Well, read his quote.
cerebral.
I think his quote is hilarious.
So Edward Norton said, "I laid out a 2-film thing: the origin, and then the idea of Hulk as a conscious dreamer, the guy who can handle the trip." And they were like, "That's what we want." As it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted.
Well, here's the thing. I can well believe that somebody in Hollywood has lied to Edward Norton's face. That doesn't surprise me.
He's got a very liable two-face.
What really does surprise me is that when he wrote a script for a Hulk movie, went to a studio, the whole time as Edward Norton, and they said, "That's what we want." No, they didn't. That isn't what they said, and he knows that isn't what they said.
Yeah.
He's a filthy liar.
Well, so, yeah, he was saying in his own words that he would pitch something long, dark, and serious. And obviously the MCU is actually...
Maybe your sex tape!
Obviously the MCU was trying to lean more into the comic booky aspects of all these characters.
I mean,
and
if
be
anyone
fun
did
and
not
engaging and a
predict-
blockbuster...
If anyone could have got, I guess, this is the future of the MCU.
Yeah.
Long,
Dark
dark,
and
serious.
serious.
And then Taika Waititi's like, no, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Edward Norton, I think he pitched Fight Club. But you've just replaced Brad Pitt's character with the Hulk.
With the Hulk,
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so like Marvel obviously wanted to do something different, and that's when Edward Norton said, "I don't really have time to commit to a project that isn't exactly what I want to be doing right now."
We want to do something different. And Norton goes, I've got something. They go, not that different.
Yeah, he said,
Not Edward Norton different.
he said we had a positive discussion about going on with the films, and we looked at the amount of time that would have taken, and I wasn't going to do that. I honestly would have wanted more money than they had wanted to pay me, but that's not why I would have wanted to do another Hulk movie anyway. I'm saying that Kevin had an idea of a thing that you could do, and it was remarkable. Now, it didn't happen to be a tonal, thematic level that I wanted to spend my time doing.
So basically,
He didn't want to be in the biggest film thing
Yeah,
for the next 10 years.
It was going to be so amazing and brilliant, but I didn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But no, it would have been really good though.
So this is the thing. So I think both Zach Penn and Norton at different points have said that like they were trying to do something cerebral with the Incredible Hulk, and Marvel wanted to do a Marvel movie with the Hulk. So they keep. I think it was Zach Penn who said the first half of the film is his vision for the Incredible Hulk, and the second half of the film in which the Hulk and another big guy kick 7 bells out of each other is just what Marvel wanted the film to be, and what Universal also wanted the film to be. Would you have liked another Edward Norton Incredible Hulk film? Would you have liked him in Avengers?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. As the disrupting influence on the
Yes.
entire thing.
I want all 3 Hulks to meet in a new multiverse film.
All 3.
Because there's Eric Banner.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Ang Lee's one. Which is why Marvel didn't want to go in the direction of any sort of cerebral philosophy on the thing, is because they were like, we don't want Eric. We don't want another Ang Lee one.
No. So we've got Eric Banner.
Ponderance on the human condition.
Banner, Norton, and Mark Ruffalo. Could we get back the original Hulk? What was his name?
Oh, yeah. Was it Lou Ferrigno?
Lou
Well, you Ferrigno. No. I don't know. Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Ferrigno, that's it.
He's still the voice of the Hulk.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
God, that's
Are they
easy,
just,
easy money if you
are
can
they
make
just
it.
are they just using lines from the old films?
No, well, it's him just going, roar! It's his roar. Like, he still does the roar. At least I believe he does. He did in the original Avengers movie, the first one.
It's so easy to do Control-C, Control-V, isn't it? It's just...
Also, Luke's here,
Control-C. Yeah, Luke's in the room.
as you just heard. That wasn't me.
Luke's suddenly
like Luke
Luke's
would-
discovered Instagram about 4 hours ago.
Yeah, and he's now really...
I want it now.
Luke's really playing with Instagram. Right, well...
It's brilliant. I can see why the kids do it.
Yeah?
You've spent about like
Have you been on
5
OnlyFans?
years of your life to be like, don't get it. What is Instagram? Why are kids doing it?
What's OnlyFans?
I'm not going to explain it to you.
Oh, no.
It's worth a Google
We're
later.
getting into that, Luke.
I think we're only 2 days away from Luke posting pictures of his ass.
with a peaches emoji.
Yeah.
Too late.
So the final bit of news before we move on to gameplay and memes and stuff is
Oh, Luke will love the memes.
Luke loves memes. On the Instagram, is it?
Luke's our new youth correspondent.
I love the fact that
I'm the oldest person on the team as well.
Luke's discovered Instagram on the day he wore a cardigan. Yeah. So, I don't know if you heard, but Todd Phillips has been saying some stuff
Yeah.
recently about
He
woke
loves saying
culture. And this kind of all came out when, like, that initial raft of Joker reviews were about how great it was. Like, it won the Golden Lion at Venice. Everyone was just saying it was going to be an Oscar contender. Joaquin Phoenix was a shoo-in for, like, a Best Actor nomination. And then the second set of screenings came out, and people were a little bit more muted about the whole thing, and they said some of the violence maybe takes it a bit too far. It doesn't quite have this sweeping political commentary that it seems to think it does. And Todd Phillips took that to mean that it's woke culture ruining things. And then he was asked about that and comedy, and he said woke culture is ruining comedy. You can't say anything these days, was the overall, I think, gist of it.
Yeah, he can't even put gay jokes in a movie he made 10 years ago anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can't make fun of disabled people.
Yeah, I think anyone, because read the Mark Maron quote, because that's kind of...
So Mark Maron, who is in Joker, he plays the aide to Murray, which is Robert De Niro's character. And he says on his podcast on WTF with Mark Maron, he said, there's plenty of people being funny right now, not only being funny, but being really effing funny. There are still lines to be rode. If you like to ride a line, you can still ride a line. If you want to take chances, you can still take chances. Really, the only thing that's off the table culturally at this juncture, and not even entirely, is shamelessly punching down for the sheer joy of hurting people. Mm-hmm. For the sheer excitement and laughter that some people get from causing people pain, from making people uncomfortable, from making people feel excluded. You know, that excitement. Bottom line is, no one is saying that you can't say things or do things. It's just that it's going to be received a certain way by certain people, and you're going to have to shoulder that. And if you're isolated or marginalized or pushed into a corner because of your point of view or what you have to say, yet you still have a crew of people that enjoy it, there you go. These are your people. Enjoy your people.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, because the general sort of... There's a sort of consensus among certain parts of the Twitter sphere, I guess, that somehow a malignant group of left-wing activists are trying to prevent all comedy that isn't just getting applause breaks for saying pro-Obama things, like that they're destroying comedy. It's not true. There's never been, in the history of the world, more venues, places, websites, social media, stages to either be doing comedy or watching it or producing it.
I mean, Netflix is handing out specials like it's nobody's business.
It's never
the South Park joke. Hello, Netflix, you're greenlit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's like it's never been easier for comedians to get time on stage saying whatever the hell they want. And for the most part, they do say what they want, and they still push lines. The only difference is that 10 years ago, there was a boom in shot comedy. But a lot of those comedies don't really hold up anymore. And it's because all the groups that were getting marginalised by those comedic films have now found their own voice. And now there's been a little bit of a pushback, and not even much of a pushback in the grand scheme of things, that maybe people can still say the bad thing, but it has to come from a more thoughtful place. And we were talking earlier, like Bill Burr is a really great example of someone who sets up... He says the bad thing, but he comes from it as if he's commenting on his own errors.
Yeah,
from a good place.
He's saying, like, why am I thinking these thoughts?
Exactly.
But I am thinking these thoughts, so I get to say the joke. But the point is, I seem like a bad guy when I say it.
And no, it is less likely now that a comedian can go on stage and just say something wildly, crazily violent, like sexually violent, say, where the punchline is just that. And that somebody, it's unlikely that they'll now get away with saying about somebody saying, "Oh, actually, that was a bit."
Yeah, I feel about it in the same way. Like there was that. It's in Kick-Ass 2, and there's that rape joke and rape scene, and it tanks completely because it's just not.
Gratuitous.
It's not backed up by anything. There's no advancement of that. And I think shot comedy works in a very similar way to how like people are tired of jump scares, because jump scares are just like, "Huh!" and it doesn't say anything or do anything. And actually, the comedy that now sits with you and people laud is the comedy of the horror of the mind. It's that sort of like stuff that you take away with you and makes you unsettled and cringe, and you think about it later on, not something going bah and jumping out at you. And I think comedy in that same vein, it should be pushing something. And I think you can also then apply that exact same value set to Joker, I think, as a film, which I saw last night. And I don't think the violence is... maybe I'm just completely desensitized to violence. I didn't think it was too gratuitous, but I can understand how people would think it's quite gratuitous.
Well, I think people have confused the two things, haven't they? Because at some point it became slightly intertwined with gratuitous violence in relation to shootings in Aurora, specifically, didn't it?
Yes.
So there was a slightly meta political
conversation
happening around the movie. That wasn't necessarily having a conversation about the movie.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't help that in the movie the violence there is a sort of semi-political conversation around the rich versus the working class happening the entire time, and this character having this sort of discovery. But his goal was never is completely different to that until the last 10 minutes of the film when they suddenly intersect. And the commentary happens separate to that for most of the film, and it's almost as if he himself says, "I don't care about any of that stuff." You know, it's just fascinating that you could have made all this violence feel much more politicized and personal if that's what you wanted to do, and you're painting him as this protagonist, which I think the film can't help but do throughout.
Yeah.
As it's only about him, really, and everyone else is quite a 2D character.
This is it. But I mean, in a broad sense, if you are a comedian out there, and you may be watching, I don't know. You've done stand-up comedy. I've done stand-up comedy.
Badly.
Worked in comedy, made comedy shows, and if you think of the amount of material any comedian should be generating or wants to generate in a given year, say, or a given 5 years, if that career is going to live and die on the fact that you can't say a joke with the N-word in it as a white guy, well then you're not a very good comedian and you're not going to survive that long anyway. Why is that the hill to die on for everyone? I don't understand what everyone's desperate need is to say all these horrible things without any consequences. It's such a bizarre impulse that never existed before. Mary Whitehouse was having a go at people over here in the 50s and 60s for having a go at politicians or even suggesting that there might be an extramarital affair. So this isn't new. It's just different. There's always been people pushing back against all comedians saying slightly randy, raucous things. And guess what? Comedians have continued to say them loads.
Yeah. Well, I think the point is
this is a non-problem.
If you want to, I think the big point that Mark Maron's trying to make is if you want to shock people and make people uncomfortable, which I think The Joker is entirely a film about you feeling uncomfortable watching it. And that is fine because you can just do that. That is a feeling. People should feel emotion from watching cinema, and that's a good emotion to come away from. You shouldn't be thinking just because he's sort of portrayed as the protagonist that means everyone's endorsing him. It should be that you're uncomfortable seeing him as the leading man, hero, protagonist because you know what he's done. Yeah, and that's fine. But it takes a bit more of you step back from the read of going, well, he's being given the hero shot, so he's the hero, and I should feel like he's a good guy. You have to step back and do that. But in that same breath, some people won't do that and will just go, it was very violent. And if you did that, you're the director. Just have a thick skin about it. Don't be like, woke culture is ruining things.
Also, it's his point is that woke culture is ruining things. But it's but he's already made the movie.
Yeah.
So it hasn't ruined the movie.
But also
because he's already made it.
What movie he made? The Hangover. It was by
the way, there are jokes in that, by the way, which he should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
There's jokes.
But also some of the jokes in that is just Zach Galifianakis has a baby.
Well, that is funny, to be fair. When the door hits the baby in the head, that is really funny. But there are jokes in all those.
When Ken Jeong comes out naked from the back of the trunk. That's scary.
That's good.
Quality stuff, The Hangover, really.
But that sort of Judd Apatow into The Hangover sort of 10-year block of massive comedies. What's ruined the ability for people to make massive blockbuster comedies was that. Because they were everywhere and they had the same jokes and the same humour, a lot of gay jokes which don't hold up now, like in Step Brothers. It's an amazing film, but there is a load of jokes where they just call each other gay, and that doesn't play well now, and that's good. It shouldn't play well now, and it shouldn't have played well then. But hey, times have moved on in a positive way. So I think it's been really hard. It's taken Taika Waititi making a Marvel movie to restart a bit of a comedy boom again in cinema, because we had 10 years of Judd Apatow movies that were the same movie over and over again, and Will Ferrell
and they
movies
were the only comedy,
and hangovers, and so if he wants to complain about what broke comedy cinema, he should look in the mirror. There we go. Top 5.
There you go. Broke culture.
Speaking of comedy, What a segue. Let's move on to some memes and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying that
take
wasn't
it
funny,
away.
what we just did?
Talking about.
Good lord.
Well, this next game is ruining geese for everyone, so
I
we'll
got
talk
attacked
about
by
that.
a goose once, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, bit my face.
Oh.
They've got teeth, the male ones. Did you know
The
that?
male ones have teeth. I feel
Yeah.
like this is worth a Google.
They've got teeth.
This
Well,
is worth.
let's do the thing first, because I'm going to
Yeah.
be responsible for your content that you're about
I'll
to
do
do.
Okay, let's do
that.
the thing.
You
So-
do that.
Yeah,
So-
okay, you Google.
I don't know if you've heard of a game called Untitled Goose Game, but it is
Never heard of it, mate.
bloody brilliant.
Is it when you go around the office pinching people?
Well, that's an unnoticed goose game. It's a very different thing. So, Untitled Goose Game has kind of become a bit of a phenomenon recently, and there are obviously loads and loads of memes about it. Somebody has made a D&D character sheet for the goose, which I quite like.
Oh, you can't see that on the stream.
You
but
won't be
that's
able to
okay.
see it. Yeah, that's very small on the stream, but it's for the nameless goose, who is a small fiend, chaotic neutral.
Fiend, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Saving it does. Its main ability is to honk. All creature of the goose's choice within 120 feet that can hear it must make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. On a fail, the creature is enraged, having disadvantage on attacks against any target other than the goose until the end of the goose's next turn.
Genuinely want to make that as part of my campaign now.
Yeah, I
Legit.
Well, Simon's looking to make a new character for D&D, and
That's so
I'm
true.
thinking he should be the goose
Absolutely.
from now
You
on.
I'm
should do
considering
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen the teeth.
So it's his goose teeth.
Their tongues have got teeth as well.
What?
Yeah.
Tongue teeth.
Shall I send you a picture?
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to look at it, but
What's
sure.
worse, vagina dentata or
I don't know.
tongue
Should we
teeth?
show the camera? Look, viewers. Look at the teeth on that goose.
Wow, that's some gnashers on there. Jesus.
There you go.
Goosey Nash Nash.
Anywho, I think the nameless goose is going to be my big bad in my D&D campaign. That's going to be the final boss.
Well, maybe you should do things like things start going missing, and like you can kind of lead in with that. Like just have this slow sort of trickle of stuff just going missing, and then more and more important items disappear, and then eventually you find the hoard of the goose. So rather than a dragon sitting on a big hoard of gold and things, it's just a goose.
I like that.
I like that.
What's it got to stealth? I need to know. On the sheet. Stealth +8, is that? Can I read from there?
+8 stealth. Yeah.
+8 stealth. That's a
How did you
sneaky
read
boy.
that from there, and I can't even see that.
Yeah,
from
I
here?
can-
Oh, there. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Sure.
Mate, I've got good eyes.
It's basically Metal Goose Solid, the game, isn't it? So
Let's
let's have a look at more memes.
More memes.
This is just the sort of thing people have been doing online about Goose Game. There's a Breath of the Wild. You're an annoying
good.
cuckoo.
Why
in the
hasn't he got
afternoon.
any hands?
Hold up, we'll go back then.
Oh, none of the characters really have hands in the game. That's just a thing.
Oh, right, okay.
So actually, that's a
Mainly because
perfect
geese don't have
representation.
hands. They'd have no concept of what hands are. So they
Yeah,
just
but he's
can't
not a goose.
see it. Yeah.
Chopper.
Yeah, but you've seen it
That's
as
a
if you are a
chicken.
goose.
That's a cuckoo.
Honk.
What's happening?
Here we are, stealing the Infinity Gauntlet from Thanos. I am inevitable. What?
What?
There we go.
I just really liked the caption to this Goose Game Halloween concept. Very good.
If I do say so myself.
It's great.
I actually did go to a dress-up thing once at school
As
as
a
a
goose.
goose. Yeah, because it was like, it was alphabet day, so I was G for goose.
Not G for any of the other things that G could be for.
Go on.
Grapes.
Gnome.
Gnome.
Oh yeah, but that's confusing.
Gnocchi.
Gnocchi. No, it could have been anything. But I was a goose, and I had like a big cardboard
Goose head.
thing covered in like paper feathers. It was quite a contraption.
Did your two accompanying ducks not make it?
My two accompanying ducks.
Duck, duck, goose.
Duck, goose, mate.
Oh.
We'll play Duck, Duck, Goose Game. Keep going through, Chops.
Yeah, that's the next one, mate.
That is the
I'm
next
way
one.
ahead of you.
That
Come on
sign
now.
can't stop me because I can't read.
But that's not got any words on it.
A lot of
That's-
but that's the
that's the
sign from the
joke.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people do the
No,
the
it's
goo-
not.
a lot of people do the goose with the knife. It is.
That's not the
Goose
joke.
doesn't care. Bit of a Castlevania one.
A miserable little pile of honks.
What is a goose?
Another game that Luke can't complete.
Hey, I could do that one.
Not as a goose.
No, true.
Not as a goose.
I just quite like this. This is actually a moment in the game. I love how the only people who appreciate the Goose's antics are this queer couple having a lunch date. This is an interesting example of how identity can shape one's views on anarchic actors in a police state. In this essay, I will. That's
very
just
good.
so good.
It's very,
well done
very
to
good.
Jason Best. So the other thing about this is that the game has like a little to-do list of items, which is like steal the toy boat, do this, that, annoy the groundskeeper. And somebody has now made an untitled Goose Game list generator. This was the creation of a web developer called Samuel Fine. He tweeted it out. He said, so I made an untitled Goose Game to-do list generator. It's not 100% perfect, but it exists, and that's good enough for today. So we had a go earlier of writing some of our own to-do lists.
You got all of these?
Oh yeah, we got them all.
Yeah. To do, get into the garden. Never give you up. Never let you down. Never run around and desert you. Never make you cry. Never say goodbye. Never tell a lie and hurt you. Punch an effing swan.
Who wrote that?
That was Randy, I think.
Was that Andy Datson? I knew he'd put a swear in it. Oh, what's happened?
Luke.
Sorry.
Oh, Luke.
Luke's ruined the... Again, technical difficulties.
Sorry, I tried to do something.
To do, get into the garden. Find rope. Wear balaclava. Get hammer. Apply hammer to groundskeeper. Bury body in the pumpkin patch.
Well, not the pumpkin patch. There's too many bodies in the pumpkin patch.
The pumpkin patch kids. They were actually corpses. Just poking out of the ground. To do, get into the garden. Get cape. Wear cape. Fly.
Good band. Good band. Is that you?
No.
Oh, who did that one?
That was me.
He's a wrestling fan.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which one?
He did a video with... It's one guy, isn't it? Get cake, wear flap.
Get cape, weary flap flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the bands.
Yeah.
I saw them at Glastonbury.
Down with the kids.
I swear he's got a video with Finn Balor in.
Oh, that was...
Oh, yes.
yeah,
that is
that's
true.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
They played my university graduation party.
They played my bar mitzvah.
Them and the Out Here brothers,
Oh.
who did their hit track, Boom Boom Boom, Let Me Hear You Say Wayo, but their backing track was still on cassette.
Oh.
And the cassette broke.
Of course it did.
Oh. We had Chesney Hawks.
Really? Of course
Yeah.
you did. 'Cause
Over
you did
and
every-
over and over again.
Yeah,
Chesney Hawks
Pat
came to our
Sharp.
university. He loved it.
We
But
had-
Pat Sharp from Funhouse came a lot.
We had N-dubs.
Oh.
Just after Talisa had swine flu, and some cheeky pranksters from the university all turned up wearing those like white masks and stood at the front row, and then they played 2 songs and left.
People are mean.
We also had the people who did that. What's that coming over the?
The
hill?"
automatic.
That's it. Yeah, they played as well. They were good. Well, they were good them to play that song. Didn't know what the other songs were.
They were basically the same. Chopper, what's next?
Oh, we've got an update to
Yeah.
something just released right now. WWE 2K20 My Career trailer has just been dropped.
Should we watch
So
it?
I think we're going to do a live reaction along with this. So give me a minute and fill for time while I set it up.
Has
But-
somebody written it? No.
Can you just do the next? Can you go to the next slide and then we'll do that for a bit?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. To do, make the gardener wear his sun hat. That's been done. To do, make it put the lotion on its skin. Not done. Give it the hose again. Give it the hose again. That's been done.
Give it the hose again. Really laddie garden.
Give it the hose again. It puts the lotion on its skin.
Let's do a quick. If we're gonna talk about this new career mode, can we talk about how awful the old career mode was very briefly?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
It has no idea whether it's in kayfabe or whether you're just a guy acting as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So you constantly talk to a producer and then actually are involved in storylines. So the game fundamentally doesn't understand
Kayfabe,
wrestling
yeah.
or what it is. When you walk around, you look like you've crapped yourself because you do this weird wobbly.
Yeah, you've
run
got
around
like
backstage.
liquid shoulders.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It glitches all the time. None of the matches make sense, and you get constantly locked in objectives that are unwinnable. When you might as well just let you just play out the matches. You don't really have any control when you win or lose titles. It takes
No.
ages to do anything. Everything's behind loot boxes. So even though you're supposed to be a big indie star, you don't seem to be able to afford knee pads for years.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the whole thing I thought was a complete disaster. But That being said, it might be fine now.
I stopped playing it at the point where it made me do a triple threat match with Samoa Joe.
Yes,
and the
that's
Bar.
right. That's right.
And I was like, this is unwinnable. It's the
You constantly do handicap matches, which, to be fair, is actually like a fun nod to No Mercy because you do a lot of handicap matches in that as well.
But that was to make you not get through the career mode.
Yeah,
'cause
but
it was much
they
shorter.
are so frustratingly unwinnable. And there were loads of mechanics where like there's like loads of really long threads of people hitting the same like mechanical like point where they just can't win, and it just becomes dumb luck whether you get through them or not. It's so irritating.
I wonder how we're doing on being able to watch this trailer.
Well, we're getting there.
We're getting there. We're working on it.
Let's talk about
We're working
geese
on it.
teeth more.
Geese teeth. So do you want to tell you
So
this?
yeah, when you got attacked by this goose,
So basically, my next neighbours had an allotment that they had two.
they were growing geese.
They were growing geese. They had two lady gooses, one male goose, and it was fine with like the people to come out and feed it, but it didn't know me.
ganderbang.
Yeah, it didn't know me. So as I came into the field,
Or a reverse ganderbang. Two lady geese.
yeah, two geese, one geese.
Yeah. Two geese, one goose.
So I came into the field, and then the goose just launched across the field, sprinted after me. I was only like 7. So I started running away. I
Never
fell-
run from a goose.
I fell over, turned over, and it literally put its feet on my chest and started biting my face.
Whoa.
And then my brother turned up and kicked it really hard in the head. And then it got put down.
Hold on.
And that's the
Wow.
end of it.
That's
What?
We're sorting it out.
Somebody died.
Waste it. If we can. We'll have it here.
Is this one of those classic mixed gender
ladder matches.
ladder matches we're so used to seeing?
Yes.
Is that Zelina Vega?
Possibly.
Oh, there's a hot Ronda sign, so she's still in it.
Oh, so that person's got a Zelina sign, so that means that's Zelina in the match.
One thing they haven't ever really accomplished is making creator wrestlers not look like Lego people compared to every other asset in the game. Do you remember if you used to do creator wrestling, like Here Comes the Pain or something, if you won the title but you were slightly too skinny, the belt was about a foot thick.
Yeah.
And like floated around your waist.
In like complete, like it was a May Day parade float.
Yeah.
Like,
Like a bit like you
Like you were go- like you were
put
going
a
to-
Victorian dress over
yeah,
it.
like you were going to Pride in it.
Bear with us. We'll be with you in just 2
bear
seconds.
with. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
It's derailed the momentum of the stream, but you know, whatever. We're playing Mario Maker in a bit, so stick around.
The slightly panicked messages I was getting earlier, little inside baseball for the fans, was people panicking they didn't have any footage from one of the shoots I did on the last show.
No.
And it was like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And they went, oh yeah, no, it's here, it's fine.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
fine.
was it,
Yeah.
There was a lot of panic.
If you'd spent less time emailing and more time pressing the same number of keys to look into the desktop, you would have found it.
I realise every day people are way stupider than you think they are.
Right, you guys ready to go?
Is that because we work with Chopper? Hey, mate.
Hey, do you want to watch this trailer or not?
I couldn't care less, really.
Right, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Do we need to turn it up past our end?
I've got bits.
Possibly. Yeah.
I mean, I have turned it up. It might in
Right,
fact be
are you
too loud.
ready?
Ready!
Let's go.
Someday we'd be WWE superstars ourselves.
But
Whoa.
if I've learned anything, it's that nothing is truly
Oh
unattainable.
God, what's wrong with her face?
That's on the Hall of Fame.
We were just telling Pac all about how we got started.
We're going to make a list of
No.
everything
Goose Game!
we accomplish someday when we become WWE superstars.
She looks like a knockoff Ruby Riot.
I bet you're here for Bret Hart, eh?
Oh, great.
I'm with you. through
He
thick
looks
and
like a
thin.
crap Andrade, and she looks like a nonsense Ruby Riot.
You have to be realistic.
Look, I will make it. It's on our list.
In this business, there's only one surefire way to cement your legacy and become immortal.
Papa Shango.
The Reaper is waiting to drag you.
I want your soul.
The ocean of reincarnation. Come out here and accept my challenge.
If you're not gonna give me a title match, then I'll just have to beat one out of you.
You just risked everything for me.
Show them why you belong.
Did he win the Mae Young Classic?
Run in your mouth, then come over here and do it to my face.
You can't recast me. What happens next? Other than Trey running for his life, I have no idea. That trophy could be ours. Don't hold back.
I never do.
Good acting, X-Pac.
That goes a long way in this business.
Hey, Trips!
Isn't over.
Wow. In that clip, you join the New Day. You become the Velveteen Dream's side act.
You go back in time and look at X-Pac from 20 years ago.
Yeah. you go to hell and meet the Undertaker. You go.
Someone dies in the ring and there's a gravestone.
Yeah. You take a trip to the River Styx with Matt Hardy, who's playing the role of Charon. Like,
that looks.
There's a lot going on there.
So basically, broad strokes of that are it's a 2-strand career mode where you can clearly either be male or female. Which
you could be Lady Persuasion if you want to be.
You could do a female career last year.
No.
So this would be the first time.
This would be the first time.
First one
with the story side, with the full on, honest to goodness.
Now,
the Aaron Sorkin written
part of that story does look like it involves going to some of these weird underworld, other universe type places that they experimented with last time, and they are really stupid and pointless, and I think will ruin the entire experience.
What do you mean? That bit where you got to hang out with Matt Hardy and choose to become the Asp Man in the last game?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was good. Or Shark
Well,
Boy,
no, but
or
so
inhabit the spirit of the bear or something.
But some of the 2K originals that they've released, like the one with you can like have a ring in a swamp and be swamp people.
Yeah.
Make it. I want to play a functioning wrestling game before I become a swamp man, imaginary swamp man, in a world that's already supposed to be slightly elevated. It doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
Well, why would? What do you mean? Why are you questioning my logic? I'm not the one making swamp people in a wrestling game.
I don't know. I would like to just have the career mode be a fairly sensible, straight-laced take on being a wrestler.
Voice acting
As there's
back in the 2K games since. When was the last time do we have proper voice acting?
I know Scooby-Doo. The games are terrible.
Not a clue, mate.
There was voice acting.
There was voice acting in the last one.
There was voice acting in the last one, yeah.
But not to that level. It looks like the storyline is very scripted.
Yep.
Which, judging by every 2K career mode, which all have the exact same story, and they all, for some reason, give you really boneheaded nicknames.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting more of the same.
Yeah. What do you think the nickname will be?
Oh, it will be like Mr. Z or something like that. They'll be rubbish. Yeah, no, they'll be worse than that. 'Cause they're in like
Wiz.
In like the basketball games, they're always like DJ.
AI was one in the basketball.
AI was one, yeah. I can't remember what the current one is because my whole game's corrupted. Thanks, 2K. But
what about iRobot?
By the way, how's the irony of this?
Are they just naming different films?
Basically. So the
Jurassic Park.
Bicentennial.
Bicentennial Man.
So I think that career mode looks like more of what they were already doing, which I think is an error.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone was. I mean, for kids, sure, that's probably quite a fun little career mode. But I doubt kids are also going to get past the inevitable 4-person handicap match that you end up in.
I don't think the career mode's
or a triple threat under Chopper's rules.
I think, and I
stop that.
I could be wrong, and maybe I'm just being an old man, but I think that when the game is attempting to realistically represent the product, I think it should just do that to the best of its ability, like every other wrestling game of all time did really successfully. As soon as you start launching out of that, either by pretending you're now not in kayfabe or by going on actual,
taking the kayfabe into magic, yeah,
and descending into actual hell, I think then you've
crossed the line.
You've lost all sight of what you're actually trying to create. So if you're going to do that, just create an action game with characters in it. Why have you bolted that onto a wrestling game? I think it's really.
It's because they didn't know how to tell a normal wrestling story.
Well, they don't, but it's bizarre.
I think the best part of that is just going to Bret Hart's house or Bret Hart's mum's house.
You must be here for
You
Bret
must
Hart.
be here for Bret Hart. Oh, aren't you those Bret Hart friends he's been talking about?
My son, Bret Hart. Who calls their son by their full name?
My son, WWE Hall of Famer, Bret the Hitman Hart.
My son, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Oh,
God. Natalia.
Why are they so bad?
Should we play a good game?
Let's play a good game. Let's play
Let's play
Big Time Mario Maker! Luke, do you want to come in?
Right, fill for time, because I need to set
We
it
need to
up.
switch some more stuff
geez.
over.
Luke, do you wanna pop
Luke,
in?
do you want to pop in?
I'll pop in, mate.
Pop in,
Well,
have a go at
give us
Mario
your
Maker.
thoughts on that trailer, because I'm angry.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I think it looks absolutely rubbish.
Oh dear, are you sure it's Tony Nese?
Is that Tony Nese? No, it's
Do you want to chuck us that other
Stand
mic,
out.
Pete? Quickly.
You what?
You chuck us this other mic?
Yes,
Sandow
I'll do
looks
that.
exactly like Tony Nese. Have we gone off? Is that what's happened? Who knows?
Shall I check we're still streaming?
I think we are still live, I believe.
Regrettably.
My thoughts on that trailer. Dang it, we're still live. My thoughts on that trailer. I mean, I got some heat yesterday on the old Twitter machine because I said that the 2K games are not very good. The response I got was, well, "That's because you're not very good at them."
Nah, I don't think they have a wealth of depth to open up when you suddenly learn the mechanics. They're still boring.
Well, that was my thing. I think they're boring and clunky to play. And I mean, I'm not very good at Mortal Kombat 11 either, but I still very much enjoyed that game because it's fun to play. I'm not good at most games, to be honest, but if they're fun to play, then I don't mind so much.
No, exactly. I think that's the key. Is like 2K goes out of its way to make the scripted aspect of the game really boring to play. And I think the thing is when people review WWE 2K games, and the thing I'm interested in is the career mode. Nobody ever reviews the career mode. Nobody ever sits down and plays the whole career mode and goes, "That was really fun."
Yeah.
Most people just log on to the game, play as AJ Styles 3 times, and go, "That's fun."
And
then it gets like, and then it just gets 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s in the reviews, and you're like, "Well, this doesn't represent what the actual game is for the regular person." Like,
And-
what's the creator mode like? What is it like? You know,
I can tell you what the
going
going mode
through
like. It's locked behind loot boxes.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, that is the major issue.
Much like the career mode likely will be as well. Because the other problem with 2K games is that you get to a certain point, but they don't give you enough points to be good
Yes.
unless you buy booster packs to up your
here's the
skill
thing.
level
Do you think this?
so you
Do
can
you think
actually
this
be
will
on the
be
same
like?
level as
Do you think
people.
it'll be a sort of a meta commentary that it'll be locked behind subscribers? So you have to get subscribers to up, down, down, and then you get to play as Ronda Rousey.
Well, this is the problem. The 2K story last time was like you were this like hot button indie star that like Triple H had his eye on and was so good he might even destroy the whole company. He was so good.
Yeah.
But you could neither afford your own gear or like do a DDT.
Yeah, and you kept having matches against that gimp. What was his name? What was his
The
name?
actual gimp.
Yeah, he came as he turned up as a gimp one time. It's really
it was
weird.
so bizarre. And like, but like 2K do that all the time. Like when you play the basketball games, like your first rating, unless you basically pay 30 quid to like up your rating.
For a game you've already paid 60 quid for.
Exactly. And then it becomes corrupted and you lose everything, like I have.
Cheers 2K.
Cheers 2K. Is a 64 rating, which means that it's perfectly plausible to be a 6'8" professional NBA basketball player who cannot dunk. And it's infuriating.
Yeah, but that does hew much closer in wrestling terms, though, to be a wrestler who can't wrestle because you were previously a college football player or something. So I think that's probably fine.
Oh, I just think it's
You could be Kona Reeves.
They don't know. They actually don't know. Because they just still that engine is so old and so knackered. I hope they're just building a new one. And maybe this Uke split is because they just simply disagree on what that engine should be like, which is fine. But they ultimately are building, or should be building, a new engine for the next generation, which is fine. So we're going to have to put up with just layers and layers and layers. But what this game doesn't need, and what costs too much money, but only makes sense to marketing people, is just layering on loads of BS, rather than just saying, hey, here's what's hard to sell, is going, hey guys, we fixed it.
Yeah, this is the most
That's not a
accurate
good marketing
wrestling
campaign.
game.
Yeah. So instead, they have to do things like, "Hey, there's a guy who's going to headline a pay-per-view a month before the game comes out. Guess what? He's in the game. Oh well, thanks 2K.
Yeah.
Oh, bestow the gods have put in one of the main event wrestlers of the actual company in the game. It's like that's not a prize. That's the bare minimum.
I love the fact that also
Man United are red. This is FIFA. Oh, cheers. Cheers, FIFA.
I love the fact that the two characters they've picked as well to show off the breadth of their creation suite in the career mode were a knockoff Ruby Riott, because she's a short-haired woman, and a guy who's got
Devon Dudley's trousers.
He's debuted as every NXT wrestler. He's Adam Rose's first gimmick. He's the AOP. It's just like he's just every dude, but he's got like the difference is he's got 3 grills in the back of his vest on, so he might be a fish man. We don't know.
What's funny is that vest was always one of the default vests you could use. So even for their trailer, they've not even unlocked. They've not even unlocked the requisite attire.
Okay, so let's start Mario Maker now.
Yay.
So the first course is called Mushroom Championship Wrestling.
Oh, what?
And this is made by Retrosoft Studios, the makers of
sweet.
Retromania Wrestling, which is a spiritual successor to the 1991 arcade classic WrestleFest.
Yes.
And this was sent our way by Christos Petru and Mike Perry.
Oh, yeah. I know Chris is one of our pledge hounds.
I know.
He is indeed, yeah. Can you spin the screen around a little bit, Pete, so I can see it?
Probably help, wouldn't it? I was like, I'm definitely forgetting something to do.
Yeah.
It's that.
Thanks,
Spin
Pete.
the screen round.
Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Pete. Right, so we're playing this one here, right?
Yep. So Luke is going to have... Is it 10 goes?
Yes, 10 goes, please.
Let's load up the 10 goes into the 10 goes machine.
And off you 10 goes.
Okay, so this is... I believe this has kind of got like a...
10 goes?
Nintendo.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm full screen. I can see what I'm doing.
Do you get an entrance? Go.
Go chase
Oh, look at that. It's an actual wrestling ring. Oh!
With a crowd.
Right, so you got to beat the 2 boom booms.
2 boom booms.
Those are the boom booms.
Right.
So jump on them.
Oh, where? Oh, I'm in the ring. I don't know. Actually, didn't even see how I managed that.
Oh,
no! Dearie me, I am not paying attention.
How'd you beat the boom booms?
I got lost.
You jump on the heads, but then they go into spikes
Spike
after
mode,
you
yeah,
jump
yeah.
on them.
So then you have to knock them.
So then
The
you have
problem
to
was
just back off for a second and then leave
Yeah,
it to it.
I suddenly found myself in the ring. I thought I was still on the Yoshi.
This match obviously taking place in Madison Air Gardens.
There we go. See, I keep losing the Yoshi.
There you go. That's what. I keep losing the Yoshi.
Get off the Yoshi.
Why are you licking
Oh,
things?
did you eat the spring? Get in the ring, Luke. What are you doing?
Stop spitting all the stuff everywhere. Jump up and... No.
Luke, stop gaming the system. What are you doing?
I think I'm stuck.
So
No,
eat,
because
no,
you're
eat
bouncing
that.
off the spring.
Yeah, spit it that
This
way.
is why we edited it before.
Yeah. No. Now spit it the other way. No.
no,
Oh,
What are you trying to? What are you trying to? Hey, he's come out! He's come out the ring. We'll take this outside, mate.
Oh, watch out for the 10 count, Luke.
Right, I'm in.
Careful. Watch out. They go spiky. and they
These
jump on you again.
people in the front really need to
Yeah,
pipe down,
they're
mate.
not very helpful. Oh.
Typical WWE fans always trying to make themselves the centre of attention.
There you go, got one.
Got one of them. I'm trying to people
Yoshi's having an absolute nightmare.
Wait for it.
Oh, the turnbuckle!
Coup de grace!
Right, where's the door?
Back the other way. Oh, it says up there. Look,
Sorry, up where?
there's an arrow in the ring. So
Oh, right.
get your Yoshi before he
Loses
does my
mind.
nutting.
That's so annoying.
Oh, there we go. Did you get the mushroom? Yeah. Okay, so to get up there, you got to do a Yoshi jump.
How'd you do a Yoshi?
So you jump towards the edge and then you jump off Yoshi.
Oh, okay, I see.
Stop eating all the springs.
It's fun, mate. Right. How'd you jump off the Yoshi?
Back button.
What's the back button?
One of these back buttons.
Oh, right.
Just press it and find out. There you go.
Nice.
I'm in. I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Ooh,
Oh,
there you
one
go,
up,
hit the
mate.
one-ups.
Oh, hello. It's got all the one-ups.
They mean nothing. Here we go.
Get out of the way, crowd. You see, now I can't see bloody thing in the way because these pricks.
Distracted by the audience. Reach the goal after defeating 1 Bowser's.
Yep, 1 Bowser's. Right, okay. I'm pretty sure I got this bit sus. Ding dong. Ding.
I would call you a ding dong.
Ding dong, dickheads.
Good tag team name.
The ding dong dickheads.
And the ding dongs were a thing.
Nice.
There we go.
Damn.
Oh,
Nice.
double.
Double.
Donk.
Oh,
you got
mate.
dunked.
Smooth.
That was a squash match.
Was.
Oh, I went too
Oh,
early.
there
Now
we
you can't
go.
get back at. Oh, you can.
Little botch there.
Whoops.
Off the ropes. Shut off the ropes.
Off the ropes. Come
Shut
off the ropes. Shane McMahon commentary.
Those lives.
Give me.
We're strapped for time or anything. That's cool.
Oh, it's a Money in the Bank. Oh, and he's already got it. It's already got it, mate. Oh, Magic Cube has got nothing on me.
That was a match that was already happening, and you just Brock Lesnar.
Uh-oh. It's a big old... It's a big one.
It's a big
It's an Inferno match. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes. I just got slightly terrified.
Get in there. Jump in.
Go.
Yes.
Oh, no. Smeg. Smeg. Aha. Ah. Oh, no. My other way. No. I jumped too early. Oh, well, maybe we'll do it 5 because maybe I'll just play this one and then you guys can play like a different level.
Complete capitulation. Maybe I'll just quit and we'll do a different level.
Don't worry, guys. Maybe I'll quit.
Yeah, got you
Oh,
guys. Got
that's
you
it,
guys.
Luke,
Got
that's
you
it.
guys. Got you
Douche.
guys. Oh, douche! Skadoosh, mate! Yoshi, come here.
Yoshi, come back.
Come here.
What do you reckon Luigi's finisher would be?
The sidekick splash.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
The side
you call me?
Surely it would be a side kick.
Oh, no, I bullshit, damn it!
That PlayStation symbol for some reason.
Because that's what the Magic Keeper shoots. Jeez.
The lumberjacks got you.
The lumberjacks.
That's what it is. They are. They're lumberjacks.
Apparently the screen's too zoomed in.
I think it's just I think it's more.
It's just the level, was it? Because like you can barely see the bottom
Yeah.
on the level. It just keeps moving.
What's it look like on the stream? Have a look.
I've got it here.
Yeah, because I can't take.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, it is,
Oh, it
really,
is really zoomed
It is really
in.
zoomed.
Is it?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Hold up.
that's what it looks
I'll
like.
wait till Luke dies then.
No.
Unless he can just chill for a minute.
People are missing it.
Luke's not chilling for a minute.
Okay,
No,
one
no,
second.
just
Okay,
do it, 'cause
I'm
Just
chilling here.
Koch, mate.
It's actually properly zoomed. What's the
That is not what we're being told. Can you apply?
That is.
Oh man, that's very
Play
zoomed
like
in.
it's
Yeah.
4K.
It's really zoomed.
Like, that's not what it is here.
Well, you might have to just fiddle with it.
That's like.
You might have to
Oh,
just
I
make.
love technical difficulties.
You might just have to make it smaller though. Because when will this refresh in like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Black screen. Yeah.
Well, it might not be once you actually.
Oh.
Okay, so we're now.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
no.
hang on. Now we're
No,
in.
it's fine, it's fine.
It's because you full screened it.
Oh yeah, so we'll just play. We'll just play it on there.
Yeah. Okay, we
Oh,
fixed
yeah.
it.
Just play it on there.
Yeah, I'll just play it on here. I can see what I'm doing. I've got this.
Sorry, everyone.
Sorry. You had lots of it zoomed in. Montreal screen job. Let's
Oh,
Ian
nice.
J. Jackson with the great joke.
About our terrible ability to put on a live stream.
Get out of the way, crowd.
Everyone confirming that it's now fixed.
Thank you, everyone.
No, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. No, I'm gonna get myself some extra
Oh,
health.
what a
mate.
bailout!
Just gonna take a quick. Oh, smack it. This crowd thing is
Just get in the ring, Luke.
I'm trying. Oh, yeah. Now you get out, mate.
Luke having an ironic disdain for the audience in the, game.
Yeah.
I'm waiting, Pete.
Hey!
I am waiting.
Whoa!
There we go. Here we go.
You
This is
nearly
it.
got flamed.
This
This
is-
your bum bum,
This
man.
is time for the Hell in a Cell. Nintendo 64.
Oh, run.
Bowser!
Oh, no. Go, get out. Go.
Oh, I'm gonna get back in!
I think
What?
you've got to beat Bowser. Do you not? To get
Oh, you do? You have to beat Bowser?
Ow.
Bowser.
How do I get back?
You don't.
I think that's it.
don't.
You fluffed it completely.
Are you just stuck in
You're
the?
getting
You're just
counted
stuck in
out,
the
mate.
ether.
I panicked, guys. I panicked.
Oh, you're actually right back at the start.
This is.
Did you restart it or?
So I had to kill myself.
Oh no.
Just like I might.
Boulder dash.
Boulder Dash. Curses!
Oh, Ollie told me off for swearing on the stream yesterday.
Oh, so you've picked up some Victorian ones instead. Boulder Dash, he ejaculated.
Ollie, he said ejaculated.
Okay.
That's fine.
Ejaculated.
You could say oh, splooge!
Where's Yoshi gone? Get out of the way! Oh, now we're in the way as well. I can actually see where Yoshi is. There it is. I found him.
I thought you just dropped the key there.
Maybe we should have put us in the top corner. Right, this is it.
Fix it, Pete. There we go.
There we go. Money in the bank, easy as that.
Got that one.
That
Now
was the
that one.
Is it a wrestling theme?
Yeah. It's done by the.
Could you not tell?
This is the Inferno match against Bowser Jr.
See, when I killed him, I thought that was the Bowser that I had to kill.
What? And then you saw the.
Ah, you!
And then what? You saw.
Why?
And then what? You thought that was the Bowser you had to kill, and then you saw another Bowser and thought, nah, probably not.
Yeah, run past that one. Ding dong.
Someone's at the door.
I like the little ding dong thing. It's a little Yoshi.
It's a wrestling bell, mate.
Yeah.
What was my door joke earlier that you like, Laurie?
Oh, I have no idea.
Why do dogs always go to the door
Oh, that was
when
it.
the doorbell goes? It's almost never for them.
You
didn't get the
one-ups.
I don't need the one-ups. Smeg. Ah, damn it. Oh no, dang, I'm gonna die.
I think that is 10, Luke.
Nah, it's gonna be 10. Yeah, do you want to take
That's
that one?
probably been like 7.
Oh.
They're long goes.
Sorry, yeah, my hands are very sweaty now.
You're actually not a very sweary person, except when you play
It's
games.
because Ollie's here now and he's put the fear of death in me. He's put the fear of demonetization in me.
I would describe Ollie currently as looming.
Do you want to sit in, mate?
Let's get rid of this nonsense. We
I
don't
want
need
to
that.
play.
Yeah, you sit in.
I'm going to make my debut.
Tag.
Making his way to the ring. Weighing in at
Oh, that
96
was
pounds.
that was such a big jump.
Well, yeah, I mean...
What about all the
289 is still
gains?
me.
Oh God.
Hey, like, remember when you were like so good at Mario Maker?
Yeah. I can't see what I'm doing. And
Ollie, can you...
do you mind? Oh, I've got. I've got a magical
We can now
Koopa.
watch your fumbling in real time.
And your face.
Oh,
Kamek.
sorry, Gorgonites, whatever you are.
My name is Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
Not as cool as the small soldiers.
What are we going to do, Archer?
Jumpy, 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 jump.
Come on, Laurie. So you get 10 attempts or you get 10 lives?
I mean,
We just say 10 attempts
We
because you
only
just
have
restart every
life.
time.
What's this one? Number 2? Number 3?
This is number 2.
Number 9?
Yeah, I know. I'm a Mario Maker
Breeze
moron.
through.
What are those two angry little plums doing in that little...
The commentators.
yeah.
Ah,
and
nice.
then the bell going as well.
Is that Vince in
Is that Vince
Gorilla?
in Gorilla, yeah. Ooh.
It's a really, really smart way of getting wrestling into this.
It's
What's
pretty-
Yoshi meant to be? Your valet?
Just helpful.
Miss Elizabeth.
No, it's Luchasaurus.
Ah, and you're Jungle Boy.
It's
What if you could keep Yoshi there? If you got the springs going.
What, have him just bouncing
So the
between
springs
the...
are only side
He's just running the ropes.
Yeah.
No,
Oh bollocks.
you hit
What's
that.
this area?
This is the ladder match.
Ah,
Money in the Bank.
right. What was the other one?
It's a tag team match.
Tag team match. Right, okay.
Yoshi's
Ah, so Yoshi's a tag partner. I've
And
got
then you
you.
have an Inferno match.
Don't see many Inferno matches these days. When was the last one?
It was Taker Kane, wasn't it?
No, it'd be Bray Wyatt came.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt
Oh, of
came.
course, yeah. God.
His debut pay-per-view match. That.
Oh, for God's
Bray
sake.
Wyatt.
Setting up a stipulation. Things though, it's you bound to.
Yeah.
It's bound to never work, isn't it? Because you set up a
It's hard to
stipulation
beat
in which
Bowser Jr.
the obvious conclusion could obviously never happen.
Yep.
You can't obviously just set people on fire.
What do you mean?
It's like the sledgehammer.
It's best not to do it, obviously, because then you get
Which
caught.
one? The good one or the bad one?
Oh, they're both bad.
Well,
No.
no.
Oh, you
they're
mean
not.
the one that stops matches?
Bray Wyatt's
Yeah.
Gallagher hammer was fine.
Bray Wyatt's Harley Quinn mallet.
The one with the. It looked like it was just gaffer taped onto the bottom of the.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the referee didn't deem it dangerous.
Because it was a shoebox.
Because it was
stuck on the end of a
cosplay.
stick, Yeah.
Oh, bless Bray.
There we go.
Oh, smoothly
No.
done.
Oh, the key just comes with you.
Yeah, it just follows you.
Magic key.
So are the crowd just there to sort of
Get in the way,
Get in the
yeah.
way.
Bloody way is what they do.
I'm just gonna abuse him now.
Nailed it.
Raining fire from the top row.
That's an inferno.
Is he
match.
allergic to that?
Yeah, he doesn't like
Not
it.
allergic.
Allergic.
Right,
Yeah,
allergic.
yeah.
No, I mean the
Is that-
opposite of
is
that.
this in Peanuts?
Is he immune to that? Is what I mean.
Hey.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh,
just
got
in
him.
time.
So, Laurie, bit of advice, but you got to fight the Bowser.
Yeah, okay, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
fight
yeah,
the Bowser.
Yeah. So
Here
is
we go.
Luke and Mario make a moron?
Oh,
Yeah.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Big time.
And what was the punishment that we decided?
We haven't decided punishment yet.
Pew, 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 pew.
You're
Oh.
just standing there, just waiting until he hits you.
Oh, he's got
Get
you
out of
cornered. He's cut the ring in half. That's good tactics.
That was all the stomps from the Hell in a Cell. All 38 stomps.
So what was that little bit there?
I don't know.
And what's this bit?
It was the. Do you remember the?
I'm a Mario Maker master.
Well done.
What can I say? This one.
done.
All right.
Simon, you can do this one.
No,
Ollie
no,
does
I've
this
never
one.
done it.
Go
I've
on.
never
You
done
go.
it. I've
So
never
this one
done
is
it.
called Mission Bob-omb Grounds and was sent to us by Sinian.
You're gonna
on
pop your
Twitter.
Bob-omb?
You pop your little Bob-omb cherry.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Made
pop
by
cherry
it.
bob-omb.
Sinian, it looks like as well.
It was made by
Made by
Yeah, it was
Sinian
made
as
by
well.
Sinian as well.
Made by one of the viewers.
Made by a
Okay.
simian.
So I'm just
Oh,
gonna.
you've messed it up already. It's a speed run.
I'm just gonna.
So hold Y and run is what you got to do.
Hold Y and run.
So you got to hold. So this is jump. This is run.
Okay, so I just bring my thumb knuckle down
Yes, jump.
to jump like this.
Yeah. Although you need to have jumped way earlier because.
Yeah, you've messed up the level.
I
now.
can make that. I can make it.
Go on then.
I believe
Can have
in
a
you.
run up.
I believe in God.
I believe in God.
And you made it. Yeah.
Okay, so just it's literally
Just
a
run.
reaction based
Run
thing.
now, run!
No, no!
Okay, I reacted
go.
too fast. It's the problem.
We can do it. We can do it. Go, jump, jump.
Gotta jump.
I'm getting closer each
So
time.
the-
I reckon by
I
10
think-
I'll
I think-
be there.
I think the hint is that the coins are where you should be pressing jump. So press jump there.
But also.
But I was.
That's 4.
properly.
No, hold it down. You'll do a bigger jump. You're doing a mini
Oh,
jump.
you hold the
You can-
hold
there
the
is a
thing
smaller
down.
jump you can do.
Great to tell me now.
5 goes in.
Ever played Mario before?
About to be a Mario Maker moron. 6
Have you
goes
used your
in.
hands before.
Not like this.
What a debut.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Too much.
No, too much.
Too much.
So now
vinegar.
that little jump you were doing, you want to do a little one after the next one.
I feel like you got what, 2 left?
Oh, wow,
Little
that's
hop.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speed run, mate. Speed run.
Go
So
on.
they go big jump, little jump.
Last one.
Cardboard box.
Oh, Davis.
Can I have another few lives?
We'll give you a bonus
Just gonna
one.
go
I'll
for
give
it.
you. I'll give you.
What do you mean you're just gonna go for it?
Okay.
It's the channel. He can do what he wants.
I'll give you a bonus 2 lives for 1 Wrestle League point.
Oh!
Oh, how?
Don't you dare say
Don't
yes.
start it, Laurie.
I'll give you a bonus 2 lives for a Wrestle League
You know I'm
point.
good for it, Luke. This is frustrating, isn't it? Wow.
Do you see why Luke swears now?
No, I can control what I say. You
Oh!
All right.
You got to say. Sit down. You've got to say something. You've got to say one thing just straight down the left. You've got to say something to the camera.
It's actually quite humiliating. I'm a Mario Maker moron, but I will be back.
No, you don't get to qualify it.
No.
You just
Say the
are.
word.
I'm a Mario Maker. I'm a Mario Maker moron.
Oh!
Good first try, side.
He got further on his first try than
And
Ollie got
I'm
the
done.
entire thing. Yes.
Ah, that's what it looks like.
That's
okay.
a big jump.
Gotta be quick.
Oh, and that's a big jump.
It isn't actually that helpful having us in the bottom right corner.
No, it's not, is it?
I know, right?
Ollie, we need another monitor.
Yeah. That's become apparent.
A big one.
Oh,
I saw you.
this controller is weird.
What's that, 5?
No, it's 5.
About that.
But who's
Go number
counting?
6. We all are.
Whoa, I did a really big jump there. Didn't know my own strength.
skip leg day.
Oh, nice, nice. Jumpity, jump at it, jump it.
Oh! We are discovering the level as I do it now. I haven't had the luxury of somebody else getting past anything.
Neither did I. I blazed this trail for you.
This up to about here is where you
Yeah,
blaze the
yeah,
trail.
yeah. And that's been a large part of Simon's initial
one.
success.
Gotta make it count, mate.
Oh, I thought you'd hustled us.
Dun, 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 dun. Chopper's in.
I'm a Mario Maker moron!
I'll tag out.
I don't have any Wrestle League points.
This doesn't count, Chopper.
No, you don't. Hand jobs over his
You can go.
Yeah,
sit
actually, Ollie's tagging out, I think. Oops.
Are you going to sit down? Okay, fine.
Well, we have been streaming for about an hour 20 now. Should we make this the last one?
This is the last one, so see if Chopper can beat it.
All right, come on, Chopper.
Come on, Chop.
Choppity chop.
And if not, we'll come back to this level as I guess the game of shame.
Possibly, yeah.
Pete, chop
Hello.
luck.
Thanks.
No worries, man.
Got loads of luck from that. Gonna reset the level just because the timer restarts. So if I'm setting that world record time.
Have you played this already?
Nope.
I mean, Mario Maker.
Oh,
In general,
the game
yeah.
itself, yeah.
You might
yeah.
just be able to run off that second platform.
I was thinking it, but I didn't want to
Oh,
really
not that
test
one.
it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
not-
You
not
want
that
to jump
one,
there.
yeah.
That's the first platform.
Yeah, yep. Got it.
A tag match, if you will.
Yeah, not that one
Fast
either.
enough there. Gonna get it.
Is that
You won't.
3?
Possibly.
Tress for you.
I did it again. I didn't leave myself enough room. It's fine. I'm learning. I'm learning. You can't
Oh.
run off. You can't just run off
You got
it.
worse there.
Yep.
What is it?
I was just going to ask you to type in the ScreenStalker password, so I was going to get on the chat.
Oh, you should have it on your Simon at
I know,
ScreenStalker
but it
thing now.
wasn't- it was telling me
Oh, I
to.
know, but it didn't work.
Fix it for me.
Thanks,
Oh, you had it, Pete.
No, I didn't.
You didn't have
I
it.
was
did
just,
you?
I was just
Absolutely
being
not.
kind, yeah. Jump. Ooh.
Jump, turn around, turn around!
Oh!
Got to turn first.
Yeah, I've got to turn in midair.
That's the
Gotta go fast.
furthest anyone's got so far, though.
And that's terrible.
I don't
I don't
But
even know
it's
how many
not
got
the
left.
worst.
Like
I think you got 2 left.
Yeah.
Come on. We're all counting you, Obi-Wan.
Something about
That's
that
not good.
platform. Just not doing it. That was a late jump, wasn't it?
You're fine, you're fine. Turn.
Yep.
Yes,
oh,
Pete,
yes,
go on,
Chopper.
Pete. Go on,
yes,
Pete.
Chopper.
Coming soon.
No! Keep jumping.
Oh, Chop!
I tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't even matter. Gah!
What are you, Pete?
The best out of you lot. And a Mario Maker Mora.
I beat my level. Well,
I'm gone.
wellicky,
A fitting
wellicky,
end.
wellicky. Turns out no one's good at Mario Maker.
Take us home.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to, but we're currently in a tiny little
Get
box
in
in the
there.
side corner of the
Give me a
screen.
second.
There we are. We're back. Hi. Well, thank you very much for watching ScreenStalker live. If you're watching on catch up, please click the videos that have appeared where Ollie's leaving or where Luke's standing here. There's a lot going on at the moment. It's just me now. Ollie's crossing. Simon's still here. This is a catastrophe. Well, yeah. Buy and subscribe to the channel. Give us a like.
Dang it!
Leave us a comment. Send Mario Maker levels our way. That'd be really good. Laurie at ScreenStalker.com. Also, if you listen to podcasts, we're doing this as a podcast as well, so you can send in like questions and that sort of stuff to the podcast thing we're watching.